Good evening from Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. I am Noor Mustafa Kamal Zafari. This is my professional personal page, and often I talk about different issues on my Facebook page and other social platform. My today's topic is democracy a failed concept in Bangladesh? From election rigging to corruption to Dr. Yunus issue to quota reform movement. In one sentence, if I've been asked why I am talking about the failure of democracy in practice in Bangladesh, in reply in one sentence, it's because institutionalization of democracy yet to achieve. Democracy is not a concept. Rather, it's a case that you need to bring in front of the court. You have to fight with your logic, legal references, precedences, evidences, proofs, and witnesses. You have to attend on time in front of the judges. You have to place all your evidences. You cannot miss anything. Sometimes you have to take time. You have to come back again. You cannot take rest until you achieve your goal, or until you rest your case. So democracy is like this, where you have to work around the clock. You have to have a plan of action to achieve it. You have to keep working in line with your plan of action. You have to come back to people again. You have to talk to them, debate. You have to reply to the comments and criticisms of them. And then you go back to work. Again, you come back. So it's not like that you once achieve it, then you can go for a long hibernation. So it's not a lion's job. Rather, I would say it's a monkey's job, where you are restless. You are doing everything possible, and you never rest your case. Now, my question is democracy becoming a failed concept in Bangladesh? If someone tries to understand the birth of Bangladesh, it's entirely motivated by the concept of inclusive, participatory, parliamentary democracy. From 1954's Allied Front movement to 1970's general election, the ruling Bangladesh government led by the then president of the party, father of the nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, entirely dedicated to work, to struggle, to fight, and to move for the rightful claims of the people of the then East Pakistan, present Bangladesh, their democratic rights to vote, their rights to live, their rights to education, their rights to liberty, their rights to freedom of movement, their rights to freedom of speech, their rights to have cultural emancipation, political emancipation, and other rights. Bangladesh Awami League and all the other political parties during our movement for freedom was entirely centered for democracy. Basically, right after the election of 1970, Bangladesh Awami League owned 267 parliamentary seats among 269 parliamentary seats in the then East Pakistan province, and also they got an extreme majority in the then northwestern frontier province led by Shimanto Gandhi Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, and also they own a good handsome number of seats in the other provinces of mainland Pakistan. What led Awami League of becoming the majority seat winner of 1970s parliamentary general election. And it gave Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman the legitimacy to claim the premiership of Pakistan. Now, the then Prime Minister of Pakistan, Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, he was also a contestant, started making many games, which led us to the massacre of 1971's 25th of March 1971 massacre, Operation Searchlight. Now, where the birth of Bangladesh is entirely centered in the concept of institutionalization and establishment of inclusive participatory parliamentary democracy, in 1973, after the enactment of schedulement of the first constitution, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman declared Bakshal government, which is a brutal violation of the foundational ideals of 24 years of independent movement and the liberation war. So this was the first time when we the people of Bangladesh experienced a kind of blistered, blatantly broken democratic organizations. The failure of democracy at state level by the dreamers, the fighters of the democracy, who fought for liberation, who fought for democracy, who fought for democratic ideals. Now they are the catalyst, the main reason of bringing anarchy, volatility, vulnerability towards democracy right after the independence of the country. Then we had General Jia's military dictatorship, institutionalization and formalization and legalization of Islamic terrorist political groups, rehabilitation of the killers of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and constitutionalization of Islam as Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, as the beginning of the constitution. I think I'm mistaking. It's done by Mr. Ershad, maybe. I've forgotten. I need to check it. Then we experienced the brutality of General Ershad, who destroyed the democratic institutions and uprooted the ideals of democracy, who adulterated democracy with the adultery of our constitution. He included Islam as a state religion, which is not possible really practically, and he changed the ideals of the constitution. He kind of injected into the people's mind development rather than democracy. Then we've gone through some development towards democracy. We've started seeing a good improvement in terms of institutionalization of democracy and towards the emancipation of people, as we had extreme poverty, we had extreme illiteracy, We had economic backwardness, industrial backwardness, technological backwardness. With all these things, we are not doing okay. Then finally, we got another butchery led by three Uddeens, Dr. Yazuddin Ahmed as president, Dr. Fakhruddin Ahmed as the chief advisor of the caretaker government, General Mainuddin Ahmed as chief of army staff. They brought some kind of purification in our political system. Bad or good or bad, we had our own political order. But they tried to purify it. Through their purification, they did some kind of injustice towards our political party system. We had our own mistakes. We had our own mistaking political parties, but still now, we had our own way of working with politics, with elections, with political parties. Anyhow, we had Bangladesh Awami League who owned the 2008 election and formed their first government, second government, but first government in this row in 2009. This is the beginning of the nightmare of vote rigging, which is reported by national and international media, researchers, academicians, publications, newspapers, news channels, reports, national and international, multinational, intergovernmental, governmental, and UN reports. I am not referring to any specific reports, but my comments are generalized from different reports and publications, journals, research articles, news reports, editorials. So, why vote? Why electoral system? Why popular election? Why general election? Why suffrage is a pillar of democracy? I think I don't need to bring many references. It's a general consensus around the globe that election is the first mandatory, foundational, fundamental, radical, extremist pillar of practicing democracy, of exercising democracy, of working democracy, of a real, true, meaningful democracy. Election is the only way for the people, of the people, and by the people democracy. When election is rigged, when voting rights is no more existing, there is no more democracy. And as vote rigging is becoming a style of taking power, when voting rights is disacknowledged, when electoral colleges, bodies are not working in line with national and international order, established principles and practices. When people cannot go to cast their votes, which is their fundamental human rights and constitutional rights, so Bangladesh has to answer a basic, simple, open, a close-ended question. Is there democracy at all? And if we analyze the reports published in national and international media in last 15 to 16 years, the simple answer should be most probably no. It's not my comment. I have nothing to do with election in Bangladesh. So if there is a problem with election, if there is a complaint, hesitation, frustration, depression with election, so democracy is not working. It's failed. When there is no democracy, so there will be corruption, and you cannot ask the system about the corruption. When there is corruption, when there is no democracy, there is legalization of illegal things, extrajudicial killing. There is breakage of judiciary, interference in judicial system, which is evident with many more cases, from Chief Justice Sinha's fleeing from the country to Dr. Yunus's retaliation, to many other hundreds of thousands of evidences and reports of adulterated, of not working judiciary in Bangladesh. When you have a not working judiciary, you will see people are protesting for their rights. And the recent movement, mass movement of quota reform, is also an evidence of people's legitimate discontent on the system, where government has many opportunities to talk and dialogue with the students, but they took the other ways of dispersing them. When there are doors of dialogue, but I am keeping it closed, as I have no responsibility to liability, accountability towards people to answer questions, where corruption is not questioned, where judiciary is not working, so I can kill people. I can disperse them with illegal means. I can use my military forces even to disperse civil movement. I have no responsibility to dialogue with the protesting mass people. I can kill them. I have no accountability to listen to them. I am not intending, as I don't care. So with all these evidence, I think this is the time for Bangladeshi people to rethink to reread the Constitution, to reinterpret the Constitution, to rethink about the constitutionalization of the system and institutionalization of democracy. And to ask Constitution, is it guiding the system to allow them, to enable them to ask questions to the system, to make the system answer their questions? It is a question now that is democracy becoming a failed concept in Bangladesh? I think it's not time to ask this question to the system, to the government, as they are the culprit. It's time to ask ourselves, the people of Bangladesh, to ask ourselves that is the system is working, is the democracy is working. If it doesn't work, it's the time for the people to work for it. Thank you.